I'm currently logged into the portal as a Fleet Manager Administrator. The Fleet Manager Administrator role gives me additional capabilities in the portal to manage aspects of my fleet. Most of that is contained within the Fleet Admin dropdown in the sitemap. From here, I can access the Site Access Hours page, user levels, the fleet schedule, user management, and customer ownership. Site Access Hours is a page where I'm able to set the preferred time windows per day of the week for assets in my fleet to have service. This is an internal reference page so that I can set times per day of the week of when I prefer the assets in my fleet to have service scheduled at TA. So for example, on Sundays, I could say the preferred hours are from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. I could do that for each day of the week and save. User levels, this will have another piece of training content, but at a high level, what user levels does is allow me as a fleet admin to enforce approval limits or purchase order limits for members of my fleet. From here, I can see a list of existing ones for my account. I can also create a new one and open up an existing one to edit. What user levels do in practice is if they're set at the work order scope, that delegate cannot submit approvals if the work order amount is over a particular threshold. So for example, Barry cannot submit approvals if the work order is over $500. Barry also has one with a purchase order scope. This means that Barry cannot submit purchase orders for any work order over $200. I could come in any time and update these values as well. Again, I can view the list of those for my account. I can create new ones and I can edit existing ones. Fleet schedule. The fleet schedule page will appear if my account has had after hours support enabled by an internal TA administrator for my account. If I come to this page and it's not enabled, I'll see a message notifying me that it is not. This account has it enabled. And this as a fleet admin now allows me to set after hours instructions and auto approval limits for work orders created outside of my fleet's hours. The operating hours are set up by a TA administrator when after hours support is enabled for my account. I can reference what they've set here. I can then enable auto approvals for my account after hours, set the limit, and set additional instructions. Example, these instructions that I've set will be visible to TSAs as they're working on work orders that I have scheduled outside of my working hours. The auto approval limit will also come into play for work orders that are scheduled during those after hours windows, and those will play into the larger auto approval system. If I need my operating hours adjusted for my account, let's say I need to adjust it to where Monday I consider the hours of 9 p.m. to 4 a.m. to be after hours, I can ask an internal TA administrator to do that. Currently, this account only has after hours set up for Wednesdays. All other days are running at 24 hours. Submitting the record will save it, and that will reflect in the backend for internal TA users and technicians to see as they are servicing my work orders. There's also validations on the form to ensure that my after hours approval limit is greater than the estimate dollar limit that's already been set up for my account. There will be a separate training piece of content for user management, but at a high level, the user management page allows me to look at members of my fleet, create new contacts and associate them to my fleet, search for members of my fleet, view details about members of my fleet. We can see that this contact does have portal access and is associated to my account. From the contact page, I'm able to remove their portal access or onboard a new user if they've not yet been onboarded. Again, user management in the portal is meant to manage the contacts within the account I have on the portal as a fleet admin, on or offboard them from portal access, and determine what kind of portal access they will get. Customer ownership is where I can assign work orders that are unscheduled, scheduled, in progress to members of my fleet. So if I have a work order that I need a particular person in my fleet to work on, such as Barry, I can assign it to them and save. When Barry logs in to the portal on the various screens or pages, such as Manage PO or Service Estimate, Barry can select the My Assigned Work Orders view, and Barry would see work orders listed that I have assigned to him as a fleet administrator. Same goes for Manage PO. Again, the customer ownership page is where I can manage that assignment of that person within my fleet, the delegate within my fleet, to individual work orders. Saving allows me to then save what I've selected in the view. Again, fleet administrators have a little more capabilities in the portal than a delegate does, and most of that is found within the fleet administrator dropdown.